When Sonic Adventure 2 released for the Dreamcast, it introduced rail grinding as a mechanic throughout pretty much all of the speed stages, and it's been around ever since. But really, I mean, rail grinding kinda sucks. Let's take a step back though. How did rail grinding in Sonic games come to be? I'm sure you know by now that in Sonic Adventure 2, Sega had a partnership with Soap, which basically made shoes that let you like rail grind in real life, whoa. And they partnered up so that in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic would have soap shoes basically. So a lot of people think that this was the origin of rail grinding in Sonic, right? Well, not necessarily, because there's a prototype of Sonic Adventure 2 out there that was before the Soap partnership. There's no soap ads all over the walls, and Sonic doesn't have soap shoes, and yet rail grinding is still a part of the game. So it's not very likely that rail grinding was just thrown in at the end of development because they were forced to because of the partnership, you know? So then, why does it suck so much? Well, I mean, let's look at how it works in Adventure 2, I guess. Rail grinding in Adventure 2 is kind of like a risk-reward thing. You can either play it safe so that you don't fall off, but you go a little bit slower, or you can hold down the crouch button to go faster while having a higher chance of falling off. And then while you're on a rail, if there's a turn, you'll usually need to hold the opposite direction to stay on the rail and not fall off. Now, I think this would be a pretty decent thing to throw in to break up the action sometimes, if that's actually how it worked in-game. The only real way you're gonna be falling off a rail in Adventure 2 is if you put down your controller and just let you come to a complete stop. Only then does it kick you off the rail. So there really isn't that much risk to just holding down the crouch button to get maximum speed. And half the time you don't even need to steer either. Like, it just doesn't kick you off ever. So I think they had a good idea behind rail grinding, but it was still just like a little bit flawed. I'm guessing they made it super hard to fall off a rail on accident because they probably had it a lot less sensitive beforehand and it was really annoying to be kicked off a rail all the time. So for a better player experience, I'd assume they just made it so it's basically impossible to fall off, which is fine. But I think some more testing to find the right balance between like difficulty and risk could have been found, you know? So that's how rail grinding started off. A kind of flawed but okay system. So, you know, for the next Sonic game, they could bring back rail grinding, develop on it, make it better than it was in Adventure 2. Except for the fact that in every single Sonic game after Adventure 2, rail grinding has gotten slowly less and less and less interesting. In Sonic 06, you can't crouch anymore, but you can do this on rails, I guess, but it's really more of just a cinematic thing now. There's almost no gameplay to be had. And then in Sonic Generations Forward, we basically regress to just having this. What even is this? There's no skill involved. You literally just hold down the boost button until it's over. The most depth that they have is having 3 different rails next to each other that you have to switch between, but like, you don't even have to most of the time. You can just stay on one rail. Like, oh look, this rail's about to end. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Never mind, it just sends me on to the next rail anyways. And don't get me wrong, it's not like this started with Sonic Generations or something. There are plenty of sections in Sonic Unleashed that are like this too. I mean, even like Colors and Lost World, there's literally like 2 levels in Lost World that are just dedicated to boring rail grinding. And in Forces, oh look, it's the same thing, except without any of the verticality, which is what made it interesting. But look, there's these guys who shoot little laser things at you that are almost impossible to get hit by if you're half competent. So that's some good gameplay right there. Seeing how garbage and unfun rail grinding has become recently, it really makes me appreciate SA2 more, even if that was already a flawed system. I mean, at least Adventure 2 took in like your momentum into account, and you could actually have different speeds, and you could actually fall off. And in Adventure 2, for the most part, it was used pretty sparingly as like an alternate path if you just wanted to do it. You can either take the stairs down or you can take the rail down, your choice. But now it seems to be used more as a way to pad out levels to be a lot longer, because it's a lot easier to just throw down 3 grind rails rather than, you know, like model an actual level and have actual level design. Instead of being optional, more dynamic set pieces, now they're just this. It's terrible. And I know there's already plenty of you that are telling me how radical rail grinding is. And yeah, I'm not saying that rail grinding should be removed entirely. I think it does complement Sonic's personality and character quite well. Going out and doing parkour tricks like rail grinding is exactly something Sonic the Hedgehog would do. So I think that integrating that into levels like City Escape especially is a really cool thing. So what am I suggesting then? What should rail grinding be like in the next Sonic game? Honestly, just go back to what we had in Adventure 2. Make it take into account your momentum, make you be able to have a bunch of different speeds depending on like if you're holding down the right direction, if you're crouching or not. If you are crouching and going a lot faster, make it easier to actually fall off the rail so there's actual risk to doing it. Instead of doing this garbage, or this garbage, or this garbage, where it's just set speed BS. Make it an optional set piece that actually complements the level design. Obviously, it doesn't have to always be optional. It can be fine if you're like starting a stage on a rail or something, but don't make it like this, where you just sit on a rail at a set speed, dodging easily dodgeable projectiles. What even is this? Either that, or I think they could come up with some entirely new system that works just as well. Honestly, either way's fine, as long as it isn't what it is right now anymore. And once again, I'm not gonna pretend like Sonic Adventure 2 did this perfectly. Like, Final Rush kind of had a little bit too much, I think. And there's a multiplayer stage where it's literally just 2 grind rails, and you just hop on it, and then this happens, and who decided this would be a good idea? Probably the same person who made Rail Canyon in Sonic Heroes. We need to make rail grinding cool again, and to make it cool again, we need to make it fun again. No longer shall rail grinding be used to pad out levels by Sonic Team because they don't want to model an actual level and throwing down 3 grind rails is way easier. No longer will rail grinding be literally entirely spectacle instead of any gameplay whatsoever. I am very passionate about this one little part of the Sonic series that probably doesn't matter that much anyways. And you know, kind of on that topic, I think Sonic Team has quite a few gameplay things they need to fix before they get to rail grinding. In the grand scheme of like Sonic gameplay concepts that need to be fixed, rail grinding is probably pretty low on the list. Right under, you know, making the games actually good. That's kind of important too. So that's all I have to say on the topic of rail grinding, I guess. If you have any suggestions for improvements to rail grinding, make sure to leave them in the comments and let me know if you agree with me. I don't really know how other people feel about this subject. I talked about this a little bit in my Super Sonic Adventure 64 video, and I said like rail grinding sucks, and I got quite a few comments of people saying like I'm wrong and stuff, so I want to know what you guys think. I'd like to give a thank you to my channel's current members, including everybody you can see on screen, as well as Eliza, Big Oof, and Lair 100 TDM Plays DJ. Look, man, if you're gonna make me read your name off at the end of the video, just, like, make it something simple, please. That sounded, like, really rude and pretentious. I'm sorry. Love you. I mean, I don't know who you are, but thank you for being a member. Okay. If you'd like to get some great perks for yourself, such as having your name right off at the end of every single video, make sure to hit the blue join button next to the subscribe button, and a nice little video about memberships will pop up. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. You know, hit the subscribe button, the big red one. I mean, if it's red, then you should hit it. If it's gray, then, like, don't hit it, unless you hate me. And then you should probably have unsubscribed a while ago. You know what I mean. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.